Okay, part two. There's my cat there, sleeping in the sun. Anyway, so in part one, I talked about the importance of having a goal and how its purpose is to give you something to compare, to judge your thoughts by, and for giving you the energy to put forth effort and to be willing to make certain small sacrifices in order to succeed at this part, which is actually controlling negative thinking as it appears. So, part one is a precondition. This part is, what you do here and now. Um, so you notice that you become aware of something that you're thinking, and you decide that it's negative. It doesn't match with your goal, um, or it just feels negative to you. You just know that it's not something that you want, and so the decision is, to try to change that thinking, to get rid of that thinking. You know, so there are four techniques, I guess, aspects to trying to do this fight. And this is an ordered list, which means that the stuff in the beginning of the list is the most important. And then if that step doesn't work, then you move on and incorporate the next step. So the first one, and this is by far the most important, and I really can't stress this enough, is awareness. Really looking at your thinking. When you notice your thinking, really be aware of what it is that you're thinking, and be aware of how it makes you feel. Be aware of what it's saying. Really look at it. Don't be afraid, but just look right at it. Um, most of the time, especially if your precondition is strong, if you have a good strong goal, most of the time this is actually enough all by itself. Um, the mind kind of knows. It's interesting. It's kind of like the mind knows that it's being bad, and if you really look at it, it'll shrivel away in fear. It'll run away. Um, so most of the time that will actually work. Especially as you get better at this kind of stuff, and especially if you have a strong goal in the beginning. Now, if it doesn't work, you can move on to step two, which is you basically think about it. You reason with yourself about it. You say, well, you say, okay, I got to sit down. I can't just, shush it away right now. I need to actually really talk this through. So think about what you're thinking. If you're thinking, I'm a total failure, think about that. Say, well, am I really a total failure? Do I truly fail? Am I the living embodiment of failure? No, you're not. So I'm not, you're not, nobody is. There are things that, like everybody else, there are things that you do which succeed. And there are also things which fail, and that's true of everybody. So it's not really accurate to say that you're, a total failure. So you could say, well, saying I'm a total failure brings me down. Okay, it makes me feel depressed. It makes me feel like, I, have nothing to bring to the table. It's has negative effects on me. Okay, it's not positive. It doesn't help me with the goal. Um, so maybe it would be better to say, well, I fail at some things. So I sometimes fail at things, and sometimes I succeed. Um, maybe you can rearrange, how you say it. Think of a better way. It'd be better to say, well, sometimes things don't work out. Sometimes they do. I gotta keep trying. Okay, so the point is that at this stage, okay, you're really looking at your thoughts already. You're trying to be as aware as possible. It's not going away, and so you're going to reason with yourself. You're going to think about it. You're going to think about why it's negative, why it's harmful. You'll think about alternative ways of thinking. Different ways, which is more productive. So, what if that doesn't work? What if it's just so compelling that it just stays there? Well, the next thing that you can do is try misdirection. Okay, basically, think about something else. Um, This part, yeah, I guess you could say, you're going to say no. You're going to be forceful with yourself. You're going to say, you know, yeah, let me back up actually. Misdirection is kind of the fourth step. So in step three, so you've done reasoning with yourself, you still find yourself still thinking this, still wanting to think this. Step three is where you become forceful and you just say no. You say, stop it. I'm not going to think this. Stop now. And with all the force and might that you can muster at the time, try to beat that thought down. And I mean that kind of literally in a mental sense. You know, be forceful, be strong, just try your best to refuse to think it. You catch yourself thinking to say stop. You know, but I really fail. Stop. Stop right now. Okay? Just stop. Okay? Take control of the situation here and just say no. Um, these thoughts are not your friend. They're not good for you. Say no. So the fourth step then would be misdirection. If that's just not working, if you're having a bad day, if you're on a low ebb, you just don't have the energy, um, you find that you just can't do it, it's just not working, then you try to misdirect yourself. And, maybe you just try to think about something completely different. Start thinking about a video game or something, or, you know, um, something somebody said, something totally different, or maybe go watch TV, or maybe, read a book, or, whatever. Um, this is where you kind of take a step back, you run away to fight again another day. We all have these days where it's just not going well. If you can limit it some by not giving into it, even if that means just turning on the television and watching TV for a little bit, that's better than nothing at all. Don't get down about it. Don't let yourself get depressed about this. Just realize that, we all have down days and sometimes we just can't do it. And that's normal. You'll come back another time and you'll be stronger and you'll have more success with it. And so the time being, you know, do what you can and, occupy your mind with something else. So to sum up, there's 4 ordered stages to controlling negative thoughts as they arise. This is a battle that happens in the here and now. You don't worry about thoughts in the future or in the past. This is something you're thinking now. And the first thing you do is become aware of it. Focus on it. Look at it carefully. And most of the time that works. If that doesn't work, the next big thing to do is to reason with yourself, to think about why those thoughts are negative, why they're harmful to you, why you don't want them. Think about how you can think the same sort of thing in a more productive way. Think about if there's a different way you can think about it. Is there a better way for me to think about this which will help me with my goal? If that just isn't working, you try this for a while and it's not working, you can be forceful with yourself and just say stop. Try to make yourself not think it no matter what. You know, these thoughts are the enemy. Say no, go away. I don't want you. And finally, if all of that fails, you can try to just occupy your mind with something completely different. Now that is the last stage. That's the last step. Only if the first 3 steps fail, do you want to really kind of do something else. And I would highly recommend not, you know, trying to not, do drugs or something like that, um, or drinking, or other things which full well, will ultimately make things worse. Try to find a mild activity like watching TV or reading a book, or even just thinking about a different subject. See if you can occupy yourself with something else. Um, this stuff will work. It does take energy, and that's why you need the goal, the precondition, which is, a goal which is, hopefully strong and vivid and something which you can actively desire and work towards. That'll give you the energy to actually do this fight, when these thoughts come up. Now, as just a kind of a wrap-up note, let me check the time. It's over. Let me do a very quick concluding video. So, okay.